What's happening, everybody? So in this video, I'm going to chat a little bit about a topic that is near and dear to my heart. Foxbody Mustangs. And one of the reasons why I wanted to throw this up there is because as I've noticed here in, the recent months, Foxbody has become more and more popular, and they kind of serve as a gateway drug into getting into mods or working on cars, things like that. So if you're new to the hobby, chances are Foxbody Mustangs at the top of the list. So I wanted to put together a video to kind of chat about some things to look out for. So let me just jump right into it. First of all, if it looks like a piece of crap, it is a piece of crap. And no, it's not a piece of crap just because it has that blue oval on it. If you're talking about Foxbody Mustangs and you're talking about an architecture that is pretty old, I mean, you got to remember that these cars were first introduced in and around somewhere like 1979, and the basic architecture ran right straight through 1993. Now, yeah, I know there's some people that will argue that it stretched a little bit further than that with the SN95 platform, but for this topic of conversation, we're talking about 5.0s, Foxbody 5.0s. So getting back into it though, if you're looking at these cars, if it looks like crap, it is crap, believe me. You don't want to get into the habit of looking for cars that you think you can bring back to life. You can't. These things are not really built like a tank. Although they'll take a ton of abuse, you got to remember that there's still a unibody constructed car, and there are some things that will fail with a unibody car. Mustangs, namely torque boxes. Look, from 79 to about 1986, the sheet metal in the torque box was pretty thin, and my understanding is that they made it a little bit stronger right around 86, 87. Now what's a torque box? Well, the way that the Mustang suspension is attached in the rear is it's basically attached to the body, which is just sheet metal. Well, torque box is where the lower control arms bolt to the body, and those things have a nasty habit of tearing out of the car. Now, they don't typically just fly out of the car. They'll give you a little bit of forewarning, but if you are looking at a Foxbody Mustang, the very first place that you will look is at that connecting point. Get you a flashlight, crawl up underneath the thing, and if you see any tears, anything that looks funky, a little bit out of whack, where that lower control arm bolts to the body, don't walk, run like hell away from that car. And if you do have one, or if you find one that's nice, get you some torque box reinforcements. You will need them, I'm sure, and you will thank me later. Any kind of reinforcement for that torque box is a necessity. Second thing to look out for is the year that you buy. Look, from 1990 and up, not anything 1990 and forward, the cars are going to have airbags. Now, although it sounds like a nice safety feature on the front end, you're not buying this car because it's safe. And chances are, if you do buy one with an airbag, you're going to be running into issues with the airbag module itself. Basically, the way that it works is that the airbag has its own separate and non-connected to the ECU computer system that triggers the airbag. Well, that module goes out over time. It's an electrical component, and they do what those things do best. And when they fail, it is annoying as hell. You'll get this little flicker on the dash. Sometimes they'll chime. Believe me when I tell you, it is a mess trying to fix that. I've done it, and it's not any fun. So my recommendation would be to get a car without an airbag. So basically that gives you the 1989, 1988, and 1987 year range. But wait, there's a catch there too. See, in 1989, for the other states other than California, those cars had mass air. In 1988, California cars had mass air. But aside from that, they're all speed density. So anything 87 or 86 or older, unless it's carbureted, which ended in 1985, you will absolutely have a speed density car, and that is a pain in the ass to work around. So you'll definitely need to do a mass air conversion. Not that big of a deal, but still a pain in the ass nonetheless. So now you're left with a couple of years, either a 1988 California car or a 1989 car. And that would be about my recommendation. 1989. Good year, good solid year. Find you a good 1989, unless you want to go with a carbureted car, which would be 79 to 85. But getting back into it. So you found your 1989 GT or Coupe, it really doesn't matter. What do you do with it afterwards? Well, if you're looking at the car and you've already checked it out, the torque boxes look good, the next thing you want to check is the core support. It's the area right around the radiator. What you're looking for is anything that might have been crumpled. So you got to remember that these cars have probably traded hands quite a bit. And if they have, people get a little bit overly exuberant and have a tendency to run these things into everything. And if you have found one car that you do think that's in good shape, take a look at the core support. Make sure that it is all factory original, that nothing's been replaced. If that core support is crumpled up, or if it looks kind of new, or looks like there's been any kind of work right around that radiator, don't buy the car. It might look fantastic. Somebody might have done a great job fixing it, but it's still a fixed car. It's not an original car. Find you a different one. Believe me, there are a ton of them out there. So, you found a Mustang. Torque boxes look good. Core support looks good. What's next? Sky's the limit with those things. Depends really on what you're looking for. Now, if you found one with an automatic, just as good. You can get a converter for them. Talking about a torque converter here. Throw a 410 gear in it. Leave the thing completely stock and have a ball with the car. Those cars, Flowmaster exhaust, maybe a set of shorty headers, you're good to go. But let's say you want to take it a little bit further. Well, you're going to need to get you a set of cylinder heads, get you a tune, get you, a different intake. All that's going to have to come with it. The good thing is that none of that is really going to break the bank. Now, one thing I do want to caution about is when you start getting into throwing parts on a car, and this holds steady for any package you're going to put together, make sure you get packages that are known to work. It's not uncommon for guys with that 302 to get into the bigger is better mentality, only to find themselves completely and totally disappointed. For me, I've always liked really strong street packages for Foxbody Mustangs. Anytime that I've seen guys try to take a 302 a little bit too far, it never really worked out well for them. So what would I recommend as far as heads, cams, and intakes? It depends on what you're going to be using the car for. First things first though, you're going to have to get a different set of injectors, and you're probably going to have to get a different mass air meter. Now, I am not a big fan of getting a meter that is calibrated. Keep in mind, there's no real such thing as a calibrated mass air meter. Although you can get a mass air meter that will work with a set of larger injectors, it's always best to tune the car with the actual mass airflow meters, airflow rates mapped into your computer. The reason for that is with and I say calibrated in air quotes, a calibrated mass air is basically tricking the computer. Your best bet is to get a system where you can actually tune and learn to tune it. By the way, you can't really hurt the thing in stock form. Get you something like STKR is the manufacturer, at least their LLC name. It's a tweaker. Get you a tweaker for the car. Learn how to tune. This is a great application and a great time to learn the whole tuning aspect of a Foxbody or any other car for that matter. But heads, cams, intake, God, what would I recommend? Well, good old, let's start with this. Let's start with a cam. King Lord God B cam, right? Thunder strikes. Yeah, in a previous life, I was on Corral quite a bit. That's a Mustang forum, if you don't know what it is. And yeah, I'm Cobra 427. Used to love that B cam. I used to love talking a little bit of shit about it. Fun thing about the B cam is it's cheap, makes really good mid-range power, and I say that kind of with a really good. Anyway, it's a fun cam. It's easy on valve train components, and you don't really have to have much spring pressure to make that thing work at all. That cam's older than dirt though, and there are much better cams that are out there. Pick something for that package. You know, it depends on what heads you go with, because, you know, cams are different. You got to match the cam with the heads and the intake. So basically, you know, for me, 302s, I like a, you know, a small chamber AFR 165 or 185 with, you know, something like a Systemax intake, 70 millimeter throttle body, and, you know, something, you know, pick a mass air meter, 75 millimeter mass air meter. It really doesn't matter too much if you're going to be tuning it. What injectors do you go with? Yeah, you know, I've always said that if you back math, you know, fueling requirements, duty cycles, things like that, 30s are the best, but you can get away with 24s. Just make sure you're getting a brand new set of 24 pound injectors. Don't go with an old set that your buddy has. Don't do it. Get brand new injectors. Now, fuel pump, yeah, you're going to have to upgrade that too if you want to make any more power. And I always like going with a 190 just because they're super cheap, super easy to come by. And that's about it. Stock fuel pressure regulator will work just fine for you in that type of an application. Throw the thing together, have yourself a ball. You'll have something like a, I don't know, you know, mid to low 12-second package on a tire with a 373 gear and a 5-speed. As long as you don't run it into anything, you'll have a car that'll run those times over and over and over again. I had a car, it was a 93. I kind of went against my own rule there, but I had a 93 coupe, B-cam, iron ported GT40 heads, stock GT40 upper with a ported GT40 lower, shorty headers, let me think, no cats, H-pipe. Actually, no, I take it back. Stock cats with, I forget what mufflers run it. Anyway, that car ran 1250s like clockwork in DAs that were around like 1200 or so, maybe 1600. So that'll give you an idea for the kind of fun you can have with that. And by the way, that whole package, I don't know, maybe $9 grand at the most to put that thing together, including the car. Can't beat it. So, you know, there, like I said, oh, and that's with the stock fan, by the way. No electrical fan on that one. So pretty basic combination. Had a world-class T5 in it. Fun car. You can build one yourself. Actually, you and your buddies can build 2 or 3 of them for about what it would cost you to buy anything new, and all 3 of y'all can go out and beat the hell out of the things, and if they break, it's not going to break the bank to fix the damn thing. So anyway, that's just me chatting about Foxbody Mustangs. I know a lot of you guys probably have them or have had them, and you know, I wanted to show them a little bit of love. You know, again, kind of the gateway drug into getting into the whole car thing, and I miss mine. I bet you if you don't have one anymore, I bet you miss yours too. Post up if you got one. Tell me some stories about the ones that you've had. If you're working on one, let me know what you're working on. Love to hear about it. And that's about it for this one. It's a wrap. Adios.